as we move into the new AI era, it exposes a problem. It exposes a problem in the logic layer as we're starting to define it. The rules, the behavior, the calculations that govern what a company is. What is a company's special sauce? How do they define themselves? They're generally not defined in macro processes that they walk through on a daily basis. This logic is contained in spreadsheets on people's desktops, how they do their jobs. We refer to them as user-defined application. And generally, that is where all of this IP has been contained and up until now has not had the ability to be unlocked. So for us, defining what that logic layer is and then giving companies the ability to understand what's in it, what risks are presented, and segment those risks. And then based upon that segmentation, govern those risks, right? So based upon their own tolerances, based upon their own guidance, what do they do and how do they mitigate those risks over time? This is the company's policies can be applied to that segmentation and be also then applied to that mitigation. That's important because now it's not just some arbitrary AI engine du jour telling them what should be done. They're actually using their own policies and their own guidance to then actually take action where it wasn't knowable before. It wasn't exposed. So now you're taking this special sauce that defines what the company is, and then you're, one, unearthing it. So it can be known. It can then be governed, right? How do we control it? How do we utilize it at a much higher level? And then if need be, how do we then, in my words, how do we then weaponize it? How do we then make it executable? So can they then take that information, codify it, and then use that in a process, right? So that can then be called by any system and run that logic and then produce an answer. So if I have a number of logic of which governs my business and I want other businesses to call that as a single source of truth, I have the ability from a technological perspective to call this logic layer and then execute my workflow.